After over a decade away, the Topspin series is finally back. I cannot believe it has been since 2011 since a Topspin game has came out, which is Topspin 4, everybody's favorite game to my knowledge as far as tennis games go. For me, Topspin 3 was always my favorite tennis experience, and I know the vast majority of people prefer Topspin 4, but I think they're both great games. I personally did not get to play too much of 4, as I have found myself addicted to Topspin 3 as far as tennis games go. Now, I am a massive sports guy in general, but I will say that tennis and soccer are the two sports I'm not like a diehard fan of. So you could come at me in the comments if I'm messing up on some deep tennis knowledge. I have some basic tennis knowledge, but overall, I like to see if these games are just fun to play and you could jump into them and have a good time. But anyway, I know we're all excited that Topspin is finally attempting to make a comeback. So today I'm going to be deep diving into this game from my experience with it, and we're going to find out if Topspin 2K25 is worthy of a comeback or if it should have stayed in retirement. Hey, anybody watching this, I appreciate you being here. If you could subscribe to the channel, like the video, if you enjoy what you see today, it means a lot to me. So back to the video. The first thing you'll notice when jumping into 2K25 as far as gameplay goes is the new time meter, which I believe is a brand new thing for the Topspin series. And to me, this feature, it really separates ability in this game big time, which is a big bonus for me. If you are all over the place with your timing, your player is going to be all over the place with his shots. If you are on point with your timing, you are going to give your opponent a rough ride along the way during your sets. And overall, the CPU does a pretty good job of keeping up with your perfect timing shots, even if you are on point. And it does make it very competitive and fun if the computer can keep up with you on top of your A game as well.
Game. Alcaraz leads 2-0.
And shot timing is not the only thing that impacts your shots. And my personal favorite thing in this game that impacts your shots are like the return speed and the height of the balls whenever they're hit back your way. If you give your opponent a nice little opportunity to give you like a big time shot back, you are going to have a harder time returning that back. But if you send them a nice shot, they are going to have a hard time giving you a good return ball back. And then if the ball's at your feet, or if it's above your head, you are not going to hit a great shot back, which sets them up for a good return. I feel like I'm just like spinning on thoughts here, but that's exactly how tennis goes. It is a one big mind game more than actual like ability. And on top of the speed and the height of the balls and all that stuff, there's a bunch of different shot types. I know other tennis games have them as well, but I think they all do a tremendous job in working in this game. You have the flat shot, which is great for power, but it's not the most accurate shot. So if you're trying to hit the lines or the corners, you might struggle with that, but you're going to get a lot of pop on that thing. And then the slice shot, which I learned from this game, actually. I always thought the slice shot was something different. It's used more for helping you like recover when you're like running full speed towards the corners and you need to get back the other way. It sends a nice little slow shot running away from your opponent, and then it also bounces very low, which makes it hard, like I said earlier, with the heights and stuff of the ball. It makes it hard to return properly, so that helps you get back on your feet and get going. And then they have topspin shots, no pun intended, it's just what they're called, which, in my opinion, they're basically the jack of all trades. They're a good medium shot, like a normal shot. The only thing they do that's special is they bounce higher, so if you get a right situation, you could definitely get it to bounce over their head, and they have to hit an awkward shot back to you, which, like I said, is important in this game. And then my favorite type of shot is the drop shot, which is a very weak-powered shot that you barely get over the net, and then it barely bounces, and your opponent's going to have to be really ready for it and run up on the net to get that thing, and then it sets you up greatly for another shot if they do get to it. And then whenever they're in front of the net, that sets up the last shot, which is, I don't even know what it's called. I just call it the sky bomb shot, but it's that really high lob shot. I think it's a lob shot. I think that's what it's called. Where you send it, I use it most of the time when you send it over their head, and make him go run into the back for it after you drop shot him. That's usually my strategy with it. If there's other tennis purposes for it, I don't see them because I've tried it on other situations and it just sets them up for absolutely blasting it back to me, so I don't even bother. And then as far as the shot types go, also mixed with the shot timing, all of these shots have their negative risk as well. If you aren't timing your shots with good or perfect timing, you are going to pay the piper on a lot of occasions for the different types of shots. So like if you're trying to hit a slice shot nice and low and you get bad timing on it, it's going to be a really slow, normal bouncing shot, which sets them up perfectly. But if you nail it, it's going to be a really hard to return low hit that goes away from them, if I could speak. Yeah, even the difference between perfect and good timing is extremely different, which I also think is cool. Like, good timing, you're going to get some solid shots, but like if you're on point and you get perfect timing over and over and over again, you're probably going to win that point no matter what your opponent can do after you get a certain amount of perfect timings in a row. I enjoy all of this mixed together because really your goal becomes more of setting your opponent up with bad return shot opportunities instead of you actually like trying to make a good shot. You're trying to make the right shot, which turns into one massive game of chess in my opinion, which I think makes tennis a very different type of sport in a way. It reminds me of like football a little bit as far as calling plays. You have to outsmart your opponent sometimes. It's not always about speed and power. Sometimes you got to do the right thing at the right time. But something that is skill, in my opinion, in tennis is serving. And I think serving is incredible in this game. And it might just be because I excel at it. I don't know what it is about it, but I was very good at it in this game. I don't know if it's just easy in this game or if it's something that just worked with me, but I found myself consistently being pretty solid at it. It is very fun. It's the same kind of thing you could choose like your shot types with it. You could do a flat one that has a little bit more pop to it. And then you could do the topspin one that bounces higher and the slice one that runs away from them. And you could beat your opponent and ace them with those shots. But the big thing with this is you can do the analog stick. And that is basically just a typical serve, but it has a ton of power if you do it right. But it is harder to do right. And trust me, it is actually harder to do right. I just happen to be decent with it, and I'm not sure why. I think it's because I attempted to do it a lot, because I thought it was really fun to just smoke these serves, and you could really just blast them by people, and it is very, very satisfying when you do. Like, if I go 50 straight serves without hitting it past somebody, that one time is just so worth every second of it, and it feels amazing. I will say I do enjoy the little things whenever it comes to sports games, though. That's overall what makes the experience solid for me year to year whenever you get these sports games that come out year to year. Like little things like emotions, which are all there in this game. You will get like a long point or something, and then when you finally win a big point after a long one, your guy will just drop down to his knees in exhaustion and just like pray to the sky like, yes, what a freaking victory that was. And then the ball physics are solid. Like if you like with the shots that I mentioned earlier, they bounce the way they're supposed to bounce, which I think is very important. If you're going to have a tennis game, the tennis ball should matter, and it does its job here, and it does a very good job. And then I love how you can tell the difference between like a great player and a low-ranked player. Like when I'm playing with Alcaraz or playing against Federer or Serena Williams, they're all top of the game, hard to beat, and very hard to lose as, depending on who you're playing against. If you're playing against each other, which I did a lot of the time, I did like Federer versus Alcatraz multiple times because it is just a very fun experience. Highly recommend. But then I'll go to like my player who's not very good, and you'll run out of stamina, really have to manage that stuff. You'll move slower, and then you got like the high guys that are just running to these crazy shots in the corner and somehow getting there and making your eyes pop out of your head that they actually got there and hit the ball back. And then presentation is another thing. It's not too crazy in this game, but tennis really isn't known for the crazy over-the-top presentation like the high-action sports games are, like football and NBA and things like that. You don't have announcers, and if you do, I didn't have announcers. But they do this cool walk-up presentation thing when they're about to walk out of the tunnel into the arena, and I enjoy it a lot as a wrestling guy and a UFC fan. Those walkouts just make the match feel really epic for no reason at all. It just gets the hype going. Oh, and also, P.S., if you have played this game and you haven't tried the clay courts, oh my god, are they a whole nother experience of fun. You will be sliding all over the place, making these crazy shots, and then just something about them sliding just makes you feel like a badass and makes you want to keep playing. And I got addicted to it. I played like 4 or 5 straight matches with Alcaraz on clay courts because I just had a blast just sliding around. And as far as my Alcaraz experience went, because he is my favorite tennis player, and I don't really know a lot of tennis players. I know I'm jumping on the bandwagon of one of the top guys right now. But Alcaraz is just fun to watch, in my opinion. I'm a big speed guy as far as sports go, and that's his thing. So I've just adapted to liking him in the random times that I've watched him. So I play with him a lot. And as far as he goes, playing against computers, I feel like they could be a tad more challenging, as I found myself already playing the very hardest difficulty after just a couple days of this game. And like I said, I'm not a big tennis nerd or anything like that, so I don't feel like I should be the one that's playing on the hardest difficulty already. But I will say, when you do play the hardest difficulty, you better bring your A+ game, because they will challenge you at all times, and if you are not on point, they will smoke you, and if you are on point, you will win, but you will not win easily, most likely. And this is where the gameplay excelled for me. Once I got to that highest difficulty, it wasn't like all Madden, in my opinion, which sucks on Madden. They just make the computers so overpowered that they're unrealistic. This felt like they were realistically good. They were just in the right positions, doing the right things. I think it's just because tennis is a different thing. Like, they just make you be in the right positions and do the right things, or you're not going to keep up with them. And ultimately, it does take a lot for me to say this, but I just feel like I was really good at this game, and I was very surprised to notice that. So I don't know if I would base the difficulty off of me, to be completely honest with you, because I don't know what it was about this game. It was just clicking with me, and I was just on point with almost everything, almost every day. I had like one off day the whole time, and like I said, if you're off, you're not going to have a fun time, and it was a rough day for me, but other than that, I had a great time just beating people after beating people. And then the days you are on point beating people, you will really jump out of your chair and have a good time. And this game is a blast. If you want to have some fun and get the adrenaline going, play some tennis, jump out of your seat, have a good time, because it is there for you for the taking. And yeah, I wasn't even going to make a point of that, but overall, this game is just fun. And it's like I said, it's a pretty like vague point to make, but I play so many sports games that are just not fun anymore, that I could not believe that I was genuinely unable to put my controller down reviewing this game, because I was having a blast. And I appreciate that 2K25 didn't suck all the fun out of sports games anymore. And I don't know if it was because of the ball trajectory or just the clay courts or what it was. It was just clicking on all cylinders for me, and I was constantly having a good time.
4-3, Federer.
So moving over to game modes, I'm not going to waste a lot of time on this because it is the starter mode, but I do want to bring it up because this is a deep dive and I like to dig into everything. The Topspin Academy, aka training, is actually pretty decent. They have like your basic lessons, your advanced lessons, your playstyle lessons for those particular people that want more like of their style. And it doesn't take way too long to get through it or anything. And it honestly taught me a few fundamental things about tennis that I never knew because, like I said, I'm just a casual video gamer as far as tennis goes. And I watch the occasional match on TV, like the finals and things like that. But I don't know a ton about the deepness of like tennis. So it taught me some things. And I feel like learning those few things really helped me in succeeding in this game and why I was good at it from the get-go pretty much. Because this was the first thing I jumped into and it really taught me those missing things that I wanted to know. And I personally learned like what no man's land was, for instance. I never knew that little area of the court you shouldn't be in was called no man's land. And that area of the court is very, very addicting to be in for new tennis players that have no idea where they're supposed to be. Which leads into the other thing I learned, which was good positioning, which kind of goes hand in hand, but they taught me that like standing behind the back line is best, and you should always try to be in the center, which that part I always knew, but it's obviously hard to do that. And then there is right times to move up to no man's land temporarily, but you got to try to get back behind the line or move up to the front of the net, which was the part that I never did in the past playing tennis. So it was good to know those things. So for new players, I think the Academy does its job and makes it actually pretty fun along the way just to learn the things and play through them, and the videos are very well constructed. But now let's transfer over to the main mode that tennis people want to play, and that is my career. And if you notice so far, I've been in a pretty positive mood about this game, and that's because I think this game up to this point is pretty incredible. But unfortunately, I'm going to spoil it right now. This game mode makes this game come back down to earth a little bit. Not a ton, but a little bit. First, you obviously create your tennis player, and this is something that 2K does a lot better than my favorite company, EA. Creation's always been one of the good things that 2K brings to the table, and EA has not been good at that. And there are a good bit of options here again, and that doesn't surprise me at all, because 2K always nails this part. I wouldn't say it's crazy good, but it's solid enough. And once you create your player, you find yourself in what I call the minor leagues of tennis. This is where I don't know the fundamentals of tennis, and it could be called something different, and I don't know, but I call it like the AA of tennis in baseball terms. But there's two minor league levels. There's the first one, and then there's the second one, and then you go to the pros. And we are definitely going to talk about that, so pay attention to what I just said there, because it matters as far as this review goes of this mode. So then you'll see on your little calendar thing in front of you that you have a couple things on your agenda each month. In order to advance to your match, you'll have a training session, which is pretty similar to the training academy. You'll be allowed to scroll through a few options, and they'll have their different tiers and challenges for the month. And you play through it, you get rewards, you know, the whole sports deal. This isn't me talking in like a negative way. This is actually a positive thing. I don't mind having training things in there. Makes you feel like you're an actual player, and you could absolutely skip it too, which if you want, that's great. I love having options. And then you have special events, which as far as I know, they were just to unlock courts, it seemed like, for the other game modes, like just exhibition and things like that, just to get all the courts that are in the game. I didn't see anything else pop up on those, and I will be honest, once I started playing this, and you'll see why in a few seconds here, I just started skipping the special events most of the time, so that's really all I got out of it. But real quick before we jump into the actual event itself, what else is there? Well, you got coaches, which basically give you like objectives and stuff like that each week, or I think they just give them to you whenever you hire them, and then that's like a permanent objective. And once you complete that, I think you're supposed to switch coaches, which coaches are always a good thing I like having in games. It's nothing over the top exciting, but it's something that I feel like needs to be there, and it's there for like extra XP and things like that to make them matter. And then bleeding off of coaches, they give you XP and things like that because you obviously have skills like backhand, forehand, serving, volley, power, speed, stamina, reflexes. And for me as a sports gamer, I always feel like you should not have to level up speed and things like that once you're carrying on with your career. I feel like that's something you should do at the beginning. They need to implement some kind of system to where you spend XP on certain physical attributes because you're born with speed and things and reflexes, things like that. Those aren't taught to you. To me, skills are taught. I mean, I know that's not always the case, but for me, that's what a sports video game should be. You should have your physical attributes when you go into it based on like your size or your weight or whatever, your height, all that stuff. I think a 2K basketball game did that a while ago, or a few of them did. There's just so many at this point that I can't even remember which one it was. But I always like that because I think the physical attributes need to be that. And then you should put all your XP into learning like serving and things that you could get better at. It just gives it a more realistic experience for me. That's just a small nitpick thing that I always say with sports career modes. So what is my issue with this mode? Well, honestly, the issue I have with it is the actual playing through it part, which is a big deal to me, but it's also not a game-breaking deal for me at the same time. So I spent almost 5 years of my career in this, and I spent those entire 5 years in the minor leagues dominating, and I mean absolutely dominating. At one point, I won 15 straight tournaments. For over a year, I went undefeated and just dominated tournament after tournament and after tournament. And where did it get me? Nowhere. That's where it got me. Nowhere. Aha, and there lies the issue with this game. The fact that I got nowhere from all that domination. I literally played this for days of my real life trying to advance to the pros for this review. And I just couldn't get there for some reason, no matter what I did. And I wasn't sure what I was doing wrong. Believe me, I tried to research it, look up videos, help videos, and I could not find any answers on this, how to advance to the pros. I mean, heck, not even just the pros. I couldn't even get to the second minor league level. It was that bad, and it really was. I literally never advanced past the first level of the minors. Like I said, I'm not a tennis expert, so there is a slight chance that I'm missing something to advance to the pros, and I'm just not figuring it out. And if that is, I apologize for this part of the review. But as far as my experience went, I was not enjoying this after a few days of my real life time just being wasted on this. And look, honestly, as far as a deep dive review goes, I'm all about grinding through it for you guys to see how it goes. And I did, and I did, and I did. But nothing I did mattered. And worst of all, the thing that made me tap out with it is that you just face a bunch of chumps over and over again that are not worthy of your time in the slightest. If I was playing like fun competitive matches, I would have kept going for this review and eventually got there no matter how long it took. But I'm talking you just destroy these people in minutes and you move on to the next guy and you destroy them in minutes.
Adibawali to serve. Play. 1-0. Adibawali.
Ball!
Two 0. Adibawali.
Ball!
3-0. Adibawali. Four 0. Adibawali. 5-0. Adibawali. 6-0. Adibawali. Game, set, and match. Adibawali. 1 set to love.
And then you win your 35th tournament of your career, and then you win your 90th tournament of your career, and you're still in the minors. And yes, I do have a big problem with this because I get it. They suck. But guess what? We are also in the lowest level of the minors, and our overalls are pretty much the same, and sometimes your opponents are even better. So why are we dominating them to this level? I just feel like they should have been at least like a little competitive. I'm cool with you like winning because this is supposed to be like your rise to the top. You're supposed to be the next like big player, so you could beat them or whatever. But I just don't get why they were playing like a bunch of scrubs. I don't know, just none of that added up to me, and I just got so bored of playing 5-minute squash matches over and over and over again for days on end, and I just couldn't take it anymore, or I was going to get a really bad taste in my mouth over this game just to try to get to the pros. And then I could kind of just tell from being a sports player or sports gamer where it was going to go from there. You just play through the pros, which is fine. I don't have any negative things to say about that once you're in the pros. You do your coaches, you do your thing, and you just compete and win tournaments and stuff, which is what I wanted to do. But there's nothing I'm missing out on. I feel like I kind of know where it's going. So then also, real quick, another little tiny side note that I had after winning my 90 tournaments that I won. I realized no matter what tournament you win, it's the same celebration and trophy presentation every time. So that also made me a little bit sour because I feel like if I went and won a major, eventually once I got to the pros anyways, it would have just been the same trophy presentation and same trophy, all that stuff as the minor leagues. So what the hell does it even matter? And I mean, like I said, it's a tiny negative, but it is a negative for me because that's just laziness to not have multiple things, at least for like, I don't know, just the different types of courts or something. I don't know, just you gotta have more than one thing. Come on now. Okay, so let's take a deep breath here and get back to the positive mindset again. A little positive that I have is I did enjoy the energy management that you do have during your season. I thought that was cool. So if you travel far, you'll lose more energy. So you have to kind of be selective where you're at in the world or wherever, because if you do travel farther, you'll get more tired quicker. So you got to be smart with that. I wish it was a little bit more gruesome with it. I wish you would lose a lot more stamina than you do. But overall, I'm glad it's there. And it does affect how you play in the upcoming tournaments and how quick you lose your energy and stuff. But like I said, if you're playing against a bunch of losers that have never held a tennis racket in their life, it doesn't really matter if you run out of energy. That is the only reason I ever lost to any of these people. On occasion, you get I'm talking like 5% occasion, you get somebody random that's decent that will just actually beat you one random time and would shock the world. And I would be like, what just happened? And I'm like, maybe this is the start of it. And then, no, right back to playing a bunch of losers. But anyways, back to the energy. You can either choose to fight through the pain and keep the energy going, or you can rest. If you take the month off, you risk losing your spot on the rankings, though, and you will fall down. So in order to keep your energy up, you got to rest. Or you can, like I said, fight through the pain, and then if you get so low on energy, you risk injury, which will put you on the shelf. And I think that's actually my favorite part about this entire mode. I think it should always be that way in career modes. If you're running out of gas and you're fatigued, you should be a lot more likely to get injured. But yeah, other than that, there's not too much to say for this mode outside of just playing your matches and you fight to move up the rankings, do your normal tennis thing, and that's all there is to it. And one more mode I have to mention real quick is the online mode, and then we'll move on to the final rating of this game. Now, openly, honestly, I'm not a big online sports gamer. I do like multiplayer and like Call of Duty and games that are meant for it, in my opinion. But sports gaming, I'm not into that. I hate Ultimate Team, Diamond Dynasty, even the NBA My Player now, because they're all microtransaction cash grabs that I don't ever support on this channel and never will. So don't expect me to ever say much positive about any of that stuff. And then the regular head-to-head modes in sports titles, I find myself playing them on random occasions, not too much, but most of the time I find them to be laggy and slow and just not enjoyable at all compared to offline. And it sucks because I actually do want to play online more because I do like the competitiveness of it, but it's just not good and stable most of the time, so I don't get why so many people play it because I just can't get into it. But I did play a decent bit online in this game, because tennis is a one-on-one sport and not like a franchise mode type of sport, which is what I'm into. So the one-on-one aspect of it got me to try it out, and I found myself actually enjoying it. I had a very pleasant experience with tennis online. It ran very smooth and honestly zero lag at all. I don't recall one occasion where I had lag or crapped out of a game or something like that. It was very stable the whole time, and I'm also surprised because 2K is not known for that. So, yeah, can you, add that to NBA and WWE 2K and stuff like that and make your other onlines as stable? I could be wrong. 2K25 could be a mess at this point. But for the couple weeks that I tried it out, it was very stable and running well. And I appreciated it because I had a fun time. And the community also was not toxic at all in my experience as well. I actually made a couple friends along the way that want to link up in the future and play some 2v2, which I'm looking forward to because it's a fun game. So I'm coming back to it, and I'm going to be playing it just outside of reviewing. And obviously online gameplay is the same thing we already talked about as like the gameplay earlier. The gameplay is no different, but I was enjoying myself serving against these people and really showing off my serving skills, but then they would beat me in other areas of the game. And so that made my serving like really, really more important than it was offline. So anytime I served it past them and aced them, I was ecstatic about it. But then, like I said, they were a little better in some areas than me. And it just led to a lot more fun. Like offline's fun, online's fun. I'm all about it. But I think it's time to get to the final rating of this game before we start rambling here. Now let's move on to the big question. Does this game live up to the legacy that the previous Topspin games left on the tennis gaming world? That is some fancy talk right there. I'm definitely keeping all that. Gameplay, dare I say, is the best it's ever been. Career mode was a little bit of a letdown, but not too much. So how much does that impact the score for me? Well, Topspin 2K25 from me is a 9 out of 10 experience, and it deserves to be back in the sports gaming world for me. Like I said, the gameplay is top notch. I think it could potentially be the best it's ever been. I could see an argument still that 4 or 3 are better, but I can also see an argument where 2K25 is the best gameplay ever. I had a blast almost every single match I played in this game, and to me that matters, outside of killing all of the terrible players that were in career mode. But when you play like Pro v Pro and things like that or online, you're going to have a good time. You're going to be jumping out of your chair, not one to put this game down. And to me, that is a very good thing to have in a sports game. And seriously, this game could be a 10 if the career mode could just let me get to the pros a little bit quicker or just make it more fun in the minors. And like, you might have a 10 out of 10 sports game on your hands right here. This is seriously the only sports game at the moment that I can't put down once I start playing a match. I just want to keep going and going because it gets me hyped and it makes me want to make review videos like this because I can't stop rambling on and on about it because I love this game. This is the first game that I've truly, truly been in love with on this channel. WWE 2K24 almost got to that point. It was a solid game, but this game was awesome. And I wish the career mode was better because I wanted to give this game a 10 out of 10 so bad. And to me, the gameplay is a lot more important than the career mode. So the career mode did not drag it down too many points. It only lost 1 point for me because I feel like once you get to the pros, the career mode's still actually pretty good. It's just a matter of getting there. Like I said, sorry, I've said that over and over again. It's just something I really wanted to fix because I want this game to be a 10 out of 10. And I'm sure all of you guys do too. But if you agree with my opinion, let me know in the comments. If you don't agree, also let me know in the comments. I love hearing your guys' different opinions. It's something that I look forward to when I drop these videos. I've been looking into my other videos, replying to you guys. I like talking to you guys, getting to know you, hearing your opinions. And if you could also do me a favor and drop a like on the video, that is much appreciated. And come join the Snake Pit for further reviews and retrospectives. Smash that subscribe button. And I'll see you in the next one. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. That's going to be it from me. See ya.